Welcome to Burn the Ship. This is the podcast where we connect entrepreneurs with professionals that can help you go all in on your business. We talk to people that have walked the walk, talked the talk, been through all the things that we experience in the small business world, and have joined us to share some of those skills and experiences with us so that hopefully we can run our businesses more effectively. Thank you for joining me. First of all, I appreciate your time, spending some time with me, spending some time with the audience, letting us kind of peek behind the curtain of your business is very, very generous of you. Thank you to the audience that is listening. I appreciate you guys continuing to support us and making this platform a viable place to share business information. You guys are kind of the stars of the show here, both the guests and the audience. It's very, very kind for you to pay attention to me, ramble on the internet. But why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about what it is that you do, and tell us your name, tell us the name of your business, all those things.
Sure. Well, pleasure to be on the show, Bailey. My name is Jenna, and I'm one of the co-founders of Your Startup Operations. And what we do is we provide white glove operational support by custom recruiting, training, and onboarding to staff your remote virtual assistant to your business. And right now we are primarily focused in the event space. So specifically working with event vendors, think wedding planners, florists, DJs, caterers, to help them be, focused being on the ground, working on the relationships rather than being behind a computer and doing all the admin work behind the scenes.
Your clients are a lot like our clients. We work with a lot of people in the payment space that are providing a service, and we usually get in, and it kind of happens all over the place, but a lot of times we're getting in early on in that success when there's a real kind of some growth happening, some traction, I'm seeing this, or maybe I've paid my the most credit card processing fees I've ever paid in a month. So usually we're meeting those people when there's some kind of catalyst for growth, and I would imagine that that's probably pretty similar for you guys. So can you talk to me a little bit about the value that you bring those people and helping them kind of reclaim some of their time and letting them focus on growing their business?
Sure. Well, I guess to start, two indicators to know that these business owners are at a point where they're needing this extra operational support and kind of at that peak of really skyrocketing on their growth is we tend to see it usually between the 300 to 500,000 annual revenue rate. And then in terms of, what your day-to-day looks like is you're getting more leads than you can handle. So you're losing these leads because you're just not following up with them. You're too busy, trying to be on site, make sure the events are going all well. So what we do is we provide all the operational support. So all the things like, the lead follow-ups when a lead comes in, what did they say? Time kills sales, right? So just making sure you're following up right away, helping to create the proposals, the contracts, sending the COIs, creating the event timeline. So everything that can be done on a computer is the support that we provide to our customers. So they can, again, be focused on the relationship building and being on site at the event, since that's the one thing that the remote operations assistant isn't able to do.
And so from the frame of your own business, it seems like the superpower that you have with helping these businesses is that you are, one, helping them reclaim some time. I know that there's a big impact to spending a lot of time kind of on your business instead of in your business, as well as improving those systems and processes that create closable opportunities and real dollars through the interactions that you're having with prospects. What does that look like for you guys internally? What's kind of the story behind how you got started in your business, and what do you believe has kind of been your superpower towards the success that you guys have established?
Sure. So my story has been, it's always been in operations. My first business, I created like a lunchbox container, and I realized through that journey, I was great in the operations and logistics part of it. But then when it came to the sales and marketing, that's kind of where I flunked. From there, I worked with other agencies, being the right hand to the CEOs and founders, and working on the operational side of helping to build their team, creating the systems and processes in place. And as I did that over the last, I think, 8 years now, I decided to branch out with Your Startup Operations to be able to support smaller business owners providing all the systems, hiring for the right people in place, at an affordable cost. So our superpowers, we're not just like a staffing agency where we go and say, okay, Bailey, give us a job description and we'll just kind of find anyone to staff into your business. We really custom recruit through the levels of recruiting, the filters that we have in our recruiting. And on top of that, we also help with that operational support in a couple of ways. One, we're process mapping to understand your business as a whole, and where the pain points are, where there can be CRMs or tools to put in place to make your workflows more efficient. And then we help with actually onboarding and training this assistant to your business. So they're not coming with a blank slate, and then the training's up to you to do when you're already busy running around on site, managing these events.
So tell me, from your perspective, what have been kind of some of the biggest obstacles that you've seen in growing your business, like things that you've had to change or pivot into or become more familiar with? I know that the technology changes a lot, as well as the staffing world in general. It seems like it's becoming more commoditized, even though a lot of those products, from what I understand, are not really taking quite as consultative of approach to find someone to fit your needs, and process mapping, really understanding what you need. They're really just kind of putting hands on deck and letting you apply those people wherever you see fit, even though maybe you as the business owner, CEO, operations person may not be, you may not have the keenest eye for those things. And kind of on that same side of the coin, what do you see consistently for your clients that, as they are implementing a solution, as they are working with you guys, probably in tandem with changing some other things in their business, what kind of gets more difficult later? What are things to look out for those people that are like, okay, maybe I feel like I'm getting to all my leads right now, but I'm kind of on the precipice where if I get a little bit too busy, maybe some of this applies to me. Like, what are some of those consistent obstacles that you see for those people that can be alleviated by, taking a consultative approach to their staffing?
To answer the second question directly, I think it is one, not knowing where to start and what to let go. So that's what our process mapping does. It actually gives you a full visual of what is everything that you're doing, what tools are you using, who's doing it now, which most of the time that who is always on that business owner. And from there, we're able to identify tasks that the VA can go in and take over. Now, I understand one of the biggest challenge and obstacles is that fear of letting go. Only I can do it. I can do it this well. No one else can. So we like to start with the lower risk type of tasks. We have a framework that we use when we're onboarding our VAs and with our clients that, hey, let's start off with the lower risk task, such as drafting a contract. You're not actually sending it. So drafting a contract, there's no risk in drafting one until it gets sent. But there can still be approvals and a process in place to eventually get the VA to the point of, being able to draft it and send it without the owner being involved. Because the whole point in staffing someone to help is to get more of the owner's time back to focus on the things that matter in their business. And then I think to answer the first part of your question, which was, what pain points did I see in our business and also working with our clients, is honestly just hiring the right people. So our recruitment process has evolved quite a bit from when we started, because interviews can tell you so much about someone's hard skills, but until you really work with someone, you're not going to see soft skills such as, are they reliable? Are they going to show up on time? Critical thinking you can kind of identify in the interviews, but until you actually throw real work at them is when you see how do they actually work. So our key to success in really finding some of the best talent out there and having really good retention rates with all of our clients is the paid trials. So we screen, we do an assessment, we do a final interview, and then we conduct a paid trial, which is 2 days. That we pay for the candidate's time to actually work together. It's very time consuming on our end to manage these paid trials, but there's nothing better that shows how someone's actually going to work. Are they going to show up on time? How do they communicate? Again, you can tell kind of how they communicate through interviews, but when they're actually working in the real world, what does that actually look like? And from that is how we have found some of the best talent to staff. And especially in the events world, everything's so fast paced. Priorities can change in a minute. So those are also things that we look for and test them on, changing priorities, slacking them, messaging them, see how they respond under a high stress environment. So I would say the recruiting and people piece has been one of the biggest pain points at the beginning, but we've kind of figured out how to adjust our recruiting process to filter out and find the best talent.
Absolutely. And where do you see, like, what is the reason that you niche down and kind of specialize in the event space? And do you see yourself pivoting into other types of businesses, or maybe you already do that right now? And what kind of differences do you forecast for yourself in trying to branch out into other spaces, if that is what you desire?
Yeah, we actually started off serving a variety of different industries. So right now we still have clients in finance and consulting and a variety of different industries that we work with. And we just recently this year decided to hone in on the events industry. We have a couple of clients in the events. Two reasons. One, we love it. Events world is fun. And second, I think the events industry is really where people need it the most. These business owners are the ones that struggle the most in even grasping the concept that they can get help remotely. Again, events is a very people-driven industry and on site, so it's hard for them to wrap their head around that they can get this help remotely. Like anything that can be done on a computer can be done by a virtual assistant. So they can focus again on things that are on site, which is the one thing that the virtual assistant can't do. So, helping these events business owners identify that and get their time back has been amazing. We've helped clients and being able to take vacations, not work until midnight, you know, because they just finished an event, they're coming home and they got to send proposals and contracts. So it's been really rewarding to help people in this space, and it's also just a really fun industry.
Yeah, it is a super fun industry, and one thing that I've noticed about that industry is it creates a lot of opportunity. There are often, in most cases, I believe industries perceive their peers as a lot of competition, maybe overly a little bit competitive perspective with a lot of people. I feel that uniquely the event space is not necessarily the same way. Your photographer can refer you to a videographer or a venue or a caterer or a decorator or whatever it is that you need to make your event happen. People kind of create their own communities of people that they trust, and they kind of grow together. So I believe that permeating and being valuable in those communities will continue to be rewarding for you guys. That is certainly true for us, and our industry plays a much smaller role in the success of those people. But I still find that to be true, that the community is so tight that when things work well or move the needle for a lot of these people, it can create a lot of opportunity as well. So for you guys in the business services space that are listening, like, that's kind of the value of niching down, of being more specific, is that you dive into these communities that are willing and able and want to create opportunities for you if you are doing what you say you're going to do. If you're providing the service and you're doing an excellent job, it can turn into like the most valuable thing that you've ever done, is be very, very specific on the types of clients that you want, and being able to replicate that is incredibly valuable. So for you guys moving forward, what are your goals? Where do you go from here, and how do we support you guys in those endeavors?
Sure. Where do we go from here? Hmm.
Hmm.
Um, we would love to be the staffing solution for virtual assistants for event vendors. And then after I think we've mastered that, then kind of be able to take that playbook to other industries that we're already serving. Um, and and then yeah, and then continue to, find the best talent. The events industry is so people driven and reputation really matters. And I think small business owners, that's where their time should be focused on, and continue to be focused on. The nice thing about this industry is even with all the things of AI, like AI cannot replace people. Sure, AI might, change the responsibilities and type of work people are doing, but in the events world, like I don't think, it's going to be robots coming to a party and doing certain things. So that's the nice thing about this industry too, is it is very, very people focused. So, on our end, we just want to continue to be finding, placing, training some of the best talent in the world to support these event business owners so they can keep doing what they love doing, which is, creating these amazing experiences for their customers.
I love your perspective on AI in your industry as well, because I I can only imagine that AI was created with the thought in mind of enhancing the efforts of people. And there is no escaping the people side of your industry. So marrying the technology with the productivity of those people is only going to create better processes, systems, and results on behalf of your clients. So kind of embracing those things, even though the industry that you're in is very, very people oriented, I believe kind of future proofs your industry, or excuse me, future proofs your business in comparison to the rest of your industry. If people that are listening want to work with you, how do they find you?
Yeah, they can find us at yourstartupoperations.com, and there should be a calendar link to book a call either with myself directly or my business partner, Alexis.
Thank you for that. And speaking here to the audience, I think that the way that you approach your business and the way that you have implemented the things that you feel are going to make you successful shows that you're very consultative in your own mind. You spend a lot of time on your business because you understand the systems and processes that you have in place that are going to make you successful. For you guys listening, that is achievable for you too. To understand the next thing that you have to do to create revenue is a very freeing feeling for all
Mhm.
of the people inside your organization and your business to have a very clear understanding of their next task creates so much freedom and flexibility and growth opportunity in your business that you will actually finally feel in control of the direction that your business is going. I believe that whether that is a virtual assistant, or maybe you're not there yet and you're just kind of consulting yourself on some of the things that you can do better. I hope our platform plays well and demonstrates some of those, some of those tactics, some of those strategies that a lot of the people that we're interviewing are in place. If you are there, if you are thinking about it, if you are close, I recommend your startup operations. They do a really, really good job. They've communicated with me excellently. The breakdown of their industry and being very specific, I think, is something very, very valuable to people that may be looking to invest in a virtual assistant for their industry, or excuse me, for their business. So I applaud you guys. I know that your industry is becoming a little more saturated. It's a little more difficult. You have to really improve the hiring processes. You have to communicate with your client in a slightly different way. And it looks like that you guys are doing a really, really good job of those things. And I know it's hard to get to. And I reinforce that for you guys listening. Like, you can get there too. So thank you for joining me today. If you have anything to leave the audience with, I would love for you to kind of give us our final word. And for you guys listening to me, burn the ship. You would always be surprised in what you're capable of, especially if you can improve the things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis that, change your relationship or your perspective or your day-to-day tasks in your business. There are things that you can improve and you can get where you want to go. I believe in you guys.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Bailey, so much for your time. And just to kind of go off of helping, the business owners get there. And like you said, they know the systems, they know the processes, but it's all in their head. We're going to help you get that out of your head by process mapping what your business looks like, identifying what we can take off your plate and that you can delegate to someone else so you can focus on the areas that matter in your business. So I'm happy to provide your audience, the first two members that sign up, a free process mapping session. This is anywhere from an hour and a half up to 2 hours, where we really break down your process from A to Z, identify things that can be delegated out, and then we might even be able to help you staff and find the person that can be running all the operational and admin work in the background by the end of it.
Thank you for that offer. It's very kind for you guys in the audience that maybe don't know what that looks like. It will change your perspective on your business, and it will really awaken you on what it looks like to get to where you can scale, where you can go from here. Without that process mapping, you can't understand where you are and you can't understand where you're headed. But again, burn the ship. We'll be back again soon with more content. Please like, share, subscribe, check out the description to find Jenna and your startup operations information. And until next time, burn the ship.